All right. So basically, we have already covered everything in Payroll Panda already, which is managing and payroll, running payroll. So next in line is time tracking and attendance. So our system called as Jibble. Okay, so we will cover the importance of time tracking software, Jibble for time tracking, which is the demo similar to the Payroll Panda that we did previously, and also Jibble and Piro Panda features. So why a time tracking tool? Why do we need a time tracker tool? So it's for accurate payroll processing, productivity monitoring, and resource allocation. So untuk accurate payroll processing is that when, for example, for a company that you want to pay the employees overtime, so instead of calculating it manually, pukul berapa dia kerja extra hours, pukul berapa they end the job, so you can just use Piro Panda to clock in and clock out. It's easier because we have a black and white proof of the employees are working currently or not working. So for accurate payroll processing. Productivity monitoring pula, for example, let's say some company, we have different managers assessing different group of employees. So the manager itself can know lah whether the employee has already started working ataupun tengah on break. Okay. Alright, ataupun tengah on break or they are currently on annual leave, so it is easier to monitor your activity. And resource allocation as well, ensuring projects are completed on time within budget for better project management. So dekat dalam sistem Jibble ni juga kita ada this one section which we call as activity. Nanti kita akan explain further lah on the activity itself. Okay, so what is Jibble? Jibble is global cloud time tracking software similar to Payroll Panda as well. It's via it's cloud software. So basically, you don't need any software to be downloaded in your devices unless if you're using Jibble via mobile phone. So you need to download the apps via mobile phone. Okay, and then we also have facial recognition and geolocation. We also available via mobile, desktop, and web. So untuk mobile and desk workers, so for mobile, for example, let's say this devices is applicable for someone who's always on the go. For example, this employee always often going out to see clients, site visit, everything. So we require them to dribble in and out via mobile so that we can detect the geolocation as well. Untuk desk worker ni pula macam pekerja yang jarang keluar daripada office, so it's also suitable for the desk worker as well. And kiosks for on-site workers. For example, let's say if a construction company lah, let me just give you an example of a construction company. Let's say if you don't want them to clock in and clock out via their own devices, maybe they will forgot, or maybe they will not even bother to be clock in and clock out. So company can provide a kiosk. Kiosk is, for example, they can provide one particular type designated for the employee to clock in upon entering the work. For example, ada this one kiosk tab dekat luar daripada company punya entrance. So for example, they just come out to the kiosk or the tab and clock in. For example, ada facial recognition, boleh guna facial recognition ataupun 3-pin based. Just insert the information and then dah boleh terus kerja. So they don't have to use their personal phone or desktop to clock in and clock out. So that is how kiosk works. So time tracking is actually for every industry. Boleh pakai untuk construction company, law firm, all company, MNCs, semua boleh pakai Jibble. So let's dive into Jibble punya demo. Just give me one moment ya. Okay, let me show you the entire screen lah, senang sikit. Okay, so let me confirm back. Can everyone view my screen right now? I hope you guys can view my screen. Okay. Boleh. Alright, that's great. So this is Jibble. So once you log into the Jibble account or sign up to the Jibble account, this is the first page that you will be seeing, the dashboard, which completes the summarized information of the employee who's currently in or out, who's on break, or perhaps the upcoming public holiday, ataupun kalau ada pekerja yang tengah on annual leave, it will be automatically available on this section lah. So this is just the summarized information. Okay, so let's start from the bottom. So once you log into your Gmail account, let's say if you would like to change your login email and password, very simple, just klik dekat sini, click on your account settings. Dan dekat sini boleh tukar di login email and password as well. Alright, so let's go straight to integrations. So under integrations, currently Gmail are integrated with several software dekat sini. Untuk Gmail dan Pero Panda punya integration, we are going to show you later, okay? Right. Next, we have organization. For the organization section pula, this is where you can insert your company's information. We have the time format, time zone, we have currency as well. Let's say for this currency particularly is for when, for example, employee go for a meeting with the client. Let's say you need to bill the client based on how many hours they go for the meeting. So the currency over here applicable for that. Some company, they do that, for example, law firm. Okay. And we're going to skip subscription. That is not applicable for your assignments. So for permission pula, permission is some restriction that you can enable or disable for your Gmail account. For example, this is for the managers. So I'm just going to show you one random example. Let's choose this one. Edit managed people time entries and timesheet. If you tick on this section, meaning to say, the employee that you are currently managing, for example, you are the manager, you are managing 5 employees under you. So if you tick over here, you'll be able to edit the employee that you are manage, their own timesheet and time entries. Tapi if you untick over here, even though dia adalah you punya pekerja, okay, under you, you are the manager, you are managing this employee. If you untick over here, you cannot edit the time entry and timesheet for that particular employee. Same goes to this one, clock in and clock out for managed people. For example, I am the manager. I have 5 employees under me. If this is enabled, if I tick on this section, I'll be able to clock in and clock out for the 5 employees that I'm managing. If I untick dekat sini, I tak boleh nak clock in and clock out kan untuk pekerja yang I tengah manage. So itu up to companies policy. Some company diorang nak manager tolong oversee untuk edit, update, clock in and clock out. Some company diorang nak the employee itself to be responsible for this activity, clock in and clock out activity. Okay, untuk API credentials dengan notification ni pun we are going to skip because this is not necessary for your assignments. Moving on. So this is the activities and projects. Untuk activities and projects ni pula, particularly for activities on this section, usually I would always advise my customer to insert this section based on their department. So when employee clock in, upon clocking in, they need to select the department they are working on. So that when the HR or the admin generate the report, they can generate based on department. So they don't have to generate lump sum of all employees to get to know how much hours spent to complete this particular job in that particular department. Tetapi some companies, diorang tak nak insert these activities. There should be no problem. It's just that when generating report, you cannot filter by department because there's no info over here or there's no history over here. Okay, so that's why I would advise a lot of my customer to insert these activities as department, so it's easier for the head of the department perhaps if they want to generate report for their department punya monthly report, so it's easier for them to filter based on the department. Same goes to projects as well. Let's say if a company would like to know how many hours or how many days or how many months spent to complete that one particular project, you can create the project information over here. So once created, when employee clock in, upon clocking in, they need to select the project they are working on, that they are currently working on. So when the admin or HR generate the report, they would know how many hours this employee spent to complete that particular project. Also, this is optional. If you would like to be more diligent or if you would like to be more compact with your report, you can insert. If not, if your company do not practice this project section, if you don't want to insert, it should be no problem. Same goes to clients as well. Some company kan, when they go for a meeting dengan client, they build their client based on how many hours they meet. Okay, for example, law firm. Sometimes lawyer, diorang bid 1 jam RM50, 2 jam RM100. Okay, so macam tu. If you create client information over here, when the employee clock in upon seeing the client and clock out after the meeting, so it's easier for the client to see how many hours they went for the meeting and to build accordingly. So tak adalah discrepancies kata yang macam, oh actually hanya jumpa 2 jam je, 3 jam je. No, there's a black and white proof over here. So it's easier to keep track on the build activity. Okay, so that is all under activities and projects. Moving on to locations. Untuk locations ni pula, sekiranya for example, if you would like the employee to clock in on a particular location, you need to create the location over here. Alright, for example, I'm just going to insert some dummy address over here. Okay, sekejap ya. Alright, so basically you need to insert full address dekat sini. So once suggestion has popped out in the drop down button, select the accurate location, automatically it will pin in the map over here. So when it has been pinned, you click on add new location. So once you click on add new location, you can rename back the location. For example, I'm just going to keep on the HQ2. Okay. So once done, dekat sini pula kita ada radius. You can set the radius. The bigger the radius, the bigger the coverage. Meaning to say, as long as the employee is within the radius, inside this orange circle, they'll be able to clock in and clock out successfully. If they are outside this radius, they are unable to clock in and clock out. So the bigger the radius, the bigger the coverage. So normally we would advise only 300 meters lah. Okay, so over here you can insert as much location as you would like to insert. And to assign the employees, we will show you under time track work schedules later, okay? But sometimes kan different employee, they have different location. For example, you have multiple location. Your company have multiple location. Satu dekat Selangor, satu dekat Johor. So untuk pekerja Selangor, they have to clock in using Selangor's location. So you can create multiple location over here. For the assign on the location, we will show you later on the work schedule section. Okay. So that is the location. Moving on to time off and holidays. So under time off and holidays, the first section we have the holidays. This is where you can import the calendar automatically in Payroll Panda, can import the calendar to check on the public holiday. Okay, so different states observe a different public holiday. Let's say if your company have in different multiple states, Selangor, Perak, so you can include the calendar over here and assign accordingly under people, which I am going to show you later, so that they will be able to follow the public holiday that the states observe. To add new calendar, very simple, just click on add new calendar. Malaysia, for example, you have another location in Penang. Okay, select Penang, click on save. Automatically, system akan put on the list of the public holiday that the states observe. Kemudian, some company, they might not take Nuzul Al-Quran holiday, or probably they don't take Taipusam holiday. Okay, you can just remove the holiday. Just hover your mouse over to the holiday that you would like to remove, and then just click on this bin button. For example, another example. Let's say there's an additional holiday that your company propose, that your employer propose. Let's say additional of Chinese New Year, one day, memang company setiap tahun akan kasih extra 1 hari holiday. Okay, you can create the new holiday dekat sini, add holiday. Just insert the holiday name and start date and end date as well. Okay, so that is for the holidays. Next, we have the time off policies. So, under time off policies, this is the section where you can create all leave that your company practices. All annual leave, hospitalization leave, replacement leave, perhaps some company, they give out birthday leave. So you can create all leave that your company practices. Okay, very simple. Just click on add time off policies over here and then just fill up all information on this section. Let's say this leave is only assigned or entitled to certain employees only, maybe 2 employees only. You can select the members over here. Maybe these 2 employees only. Once done, you can click on done, fill up the other information and then click on save. Once you click on save, the leave will be automatically assigned to these 2 employees only. But let's say the leave that you are creating is assigned to all employees across your organization. You don't have to select one by one. In case if you have 200 employees, nak kena select one by one pun, it's a bit of a hassle juga. So just leave it blank. Just leave the members blank over here. Once you click on save, system will automatically assign to everyone. Okay. Aside from that, so basically that is why you need, when you create leave, normally I would advise my customer when they create leave over here, they need to make sure they assign it to the employees accordingly, so that when the employee log into their own Jibble employee account, they will be able to see the leave that they are entitled to. Okay, nanti tak adalah the abuse of use other leave ke. Alright, so the HR itself, themselves need to make sure that they assign the leave accordingly. Next, over here, we have the approval setting to approve the leave. So in Jibble, we provided 3 levels of approval. If your company, for example, only have 1 level of approval, you can remove the 3rd and the 2nd level of approval. To add back, just click sahaja, add approval, select the approval role, add another approval, select the approval role. So kita ada 3 level of approval. Same goes to Payroll Panda tadi. If there's any eye icon over here, you can hover your mouse over to read through the description. Okay, so that is all under time off and holidays. So once again, untuk holidays is to detect the public holiday that the state observes. And time off policies is where you can create leave, assign leave accordingly to each employees, and set the leave approval as well. All right. Moving on. Over here, we have the work schedule. Untuk work schedule pula, dekat dalam section ni, you can create multiple work schedule. Some company, they have different group of employee working on different hours or by shift. You can create multiple work schedule over here. Okay, so let me just create one. Add new schedule. So let's name it HQ3. Okay, so untuk work arrangement ni pula, we have 3 options for you to choose from. If you choose fixed work arrangement, you need to insert the clock in time and clock out time. For example, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, so this is the fixed work arrangement. If you selected the flexible work arrangement, the only thing that you need to insert is the total hours they need to work from Monday to Friday. Okay, so this is a little bit of a flexibility. So it doesn't matter if the employee clock in at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. as long as they complement the 8 hours of work, there should be no problem. Same goes to weekly as well. All you need to do is just insert the weekly hour over here. And then the employee can work on how many hours they want to work in a day as long as they complement the 45 hours per week. All right. Next, over here, we have breaks. So obviously, every company, we have lunch break. So you can just create lunch break over here for 1 hour. And some company also, sometimes they provided the tea time break. Okay, you can add multiple breaks over here. Perhaps tea time break. All right, just add multiple breaks over here. Moving on. Over here, if you would like the system to auto-detect the overtime, you can enable this button, daily overtime. We have rest day overtime and public holiday overtime. Okay, so this is for the location that I mentioned to you just now. Remember, we created multiple locations on the geolocation section over here. So this is where you can assign the location. For example, let's say this HQ3 employees, all the employees are located in, tak ada pula HQ3 kan? Okay, tak apa, assuming this is HQ3. Alright, assuming this is HQ3, so all the employee need to work in this particular location will require the enforcement to clock in at this particular location. So you can select HQ2 and then done. But let's say you ada satu saja work schedule, semua location follow this one work schedule. Then you can add multiple location. Okay, you can add multiple location. And then just click saja save dekat sini. Sorry. Okay, lepas dah insert semua, just click saja save dekat sini. Alright, so if you would like to add more work schedule, just click saja dekat sini. If you would like to amend any existing work schedule, click dekat sini and then click on the pencil button to amend. Moving on to time tracking. So for the time tracking section, the first one we have device restriction. Untuk device restriction ni pula, if I click on this pencil button, if you tick on all devices, meaning to say employees can clock in and clock out via desktop apps, web browser, kiosk, and mobile apps. So any devices that you tick over here, they can clock in and clock out. But if you only tick on mobile apps, alright, meaning to say the employee are only able to clock in and clock out via mobile apps. They are unable to do any activity via web browser or desktop apps. But usually I would advise my customer to tick everything lah. So it's easier, for example, let's say they are on the go, they can clock in via mobile apps, or they are working in the office, they can use via desktop apps or web browser. But some companies, they are quite particular when it comes to clocking in and clock out. They need to make sure the employee clock in via desktop apps so they can untick the other devices. Next, we have the time tracking rules. Untuk time tracking rules ni pula, we have several restriction over here. Okay, I am just going to pick one from each section. The first one, we have require verification by face recognition. If you tick on this section, when employee clock in, they need to scan their face first to ensure that the face recognition matches the one that has been updated in the system. Okay, nak untick pun boleh juga, tak ada masalah. But I believe for your assignment, you need to tick this section. But we are going to go through your assignment question later, okay? Okay, once again, you can hover your mouse over to this eye icon to read through the description. Next, kita ada location. Require location with time entries. So if you tick on this section, when the employee clock in, okay, ini hanya klik ini saja. When employee clock in, automatically the system will detect the location that they are clocked in. If you tick this one together, meaning to say the employee need to be inside the geofencing location, as I showed to you just now under location, in order for them to successfully clock in. If you only tick this section, then tak kisah. Mana-mana diorang ada, diorang clock in, system akan detect the location. Kalau you tengah clock in dekat mamak tengah breakfast, system akan detect the location. Tapi kalau you tick dekat sini, they need to make sure they clock in inside the location that has been set up in the system. Yang ni pula kita ada automatically clock in upon entry, automatically clock out on exit. So some company kan sometimes the employee perhaps forgot to clock in when they enter the company or forgot to clock out when they finish their work. This is to avoid the calculation of overtime. So you can enable this button to automatically clock in and automatically clock out. Just one moment, give me one moment. Okay, automatically clock in ataupun automatically clock out. Some company pula, they don't want to enforce this sebab they want the employee to be more responsible when it comes to their own time entries. So they enforce this to make sure employee are responsible to their own time entries on clocking in and clocking out. Moving on, time entries. Okay, require activity when clocking. Ingat tak the activity section over here just now, I advise a lot of the companies to use the activity as department. So it's easier for the company or the admin to generate report based on the department. So if you tick over here, require activity when clocking in, let me just show you a quick example, okay? When you clock in, you need to insert the activity over here. Sebab if you do not insert any activity, you can't clock in automatically. You can't clock in successfully. So you need to select the activity over here. Okay, but if you untick over here, macam tak kisahlah pekerja clock in with activity ke without activity ke, as long as they clock in, if you disable this button, you click on save, kita try clock in untuk pekerja lain. So without activity pun still boleh clock in. Oh, sekejap ya, saya refresh. Just give me 1 minute ya. Okay, 1 moment ya. Okay, so we dah untick dekat sini require activity when clocking. So when you clock in, you don't require to insert any activity and you will be successfully clocked in. Okay, so itulah beza dia. Alright, same goes to project as well. If you would like to enforce this one, you can tick over here so it's easier for the employee to remember that they need to clock in with project. Moving on. Allow members to edit their time entries. This is a little bit controversial. Some companies, they allow members to edit their own time entries. Meaning to say, for example, let's say, diorang patut kerja start at 8:30 a.m. But they came late for the work, they came at 10 a.m. Lepas tu diorang boleh edit their own time entries to 8:30 a.m. Okay, so this one, some company they allow, they enable this button, but some company is more strict. They don't allow to edit their own time entries. The only person that can edit the time entries is the admin of Jibber. Okay. And allow members to edit location of their time entries. Yang ni pun kalau you enable tu maknanya you ada 100% kepercayaan dekat your employees lah to allow them to edit their own location with the time entries. Moving on. Once again, each icon over here, you can hover your mouse over to read through the description, okay? So for the screenshots over here, requires screenshot capturing. So on this section, you need, for example, let's say for employees that is working from home, okay, the employee need to make sure that they are working from home, exactly working and not doing anything else. So you can enable this button. So there will be an interval of, I believe, 10 to 15 minutes. Every 10 to 15 minutes, the system or your devices will automatically capture whatever that is currently showing on the screen. Okay, so that way the company or the employer able to determine whether the employees are currently working or watching YouTube at the moment. Okay, so this is for the screenshot. So 10 to 15 minutes of interval. Kiranya setiap 10 minit, sistem akan auto capture the screen. And then over here, we have the device lock to prevent a user from clocking in from different devices. Remember on this section, the first one dekat sini, if you only tick on mobile apps, you can enable this button lah sebab kita tak nak pekerja clock in via other devices. But if you tick all devices, then you can untick over here. There should be no problem. Moving on, work schedule restriction. So over here, we have several restrictions to allow early clock in or allow early clock out. So you can just enable this button if it is applicable to your company nanti. And then kita juga ada reminder because some company, perhaps this is your first time using the system, even the HR itself kadang terlupa nak clock in and clock out. So you can set a reminder. Okay, nanti the reminder will be pop out auto your web browser, desk app ataupun your mobile apps. Ataupun automatic clock out juga. Company can set automatic clock out. So kiranya kalau some company they don't practice overtime. So when they don't practice overtime, automatically diorang akan enable this button tau for the employee to automatically clock out. So for example, allow members to set automatically clock out, set at after 8 hours of working ataupun at a specific time dekat sini. Okay, probably exactly at 5:30 p.m. automatically you punya Jibber akan auto clock out. So you can set this as well. Alright, so that is for the policies. There's a lot of other settings as well. You can read through on the icon over here. And for approvals and time rounding pun, kita akan skip these two sections, okay? Moving on. Next, over here, we have people. So people is basically the employee's profile. So for the employee's profile, if you would like to update any information on the employee's profile, just click on the employee's profile. There's a lot of pencil button over here. Let's choose the first one dulu. So over here, you can insert any information. Let me just show you one. For example, tadi ingat tak we created multiple work schedule ada HQ1, HQ2, HQ3. Okay, so you can select which work schedule this employee are currently working on. Okay, sama juga dengan calendar. For example, let's say 5 of your companies are working under Perak, another remaining 5 of your companies are working under Selangor. So you need to assign the public holiday accordingly. Just select over here. Okay, and then we have contact information. If you would like to change the employee's login email or join date, semua boleh tukar dekat sini juga. So itu adalah member. As you can see over here, there is a very fine fine font over here, says member. Let's say one of these employee is actually the manager. So you nak tukar the member role to manager. Very simple. Sebab when you log into your Jibble account, when you integrate Payroll Panda and Jibble, automatically all employee will be categorized as member. Tapi kalau kata one of the employee is the manager, you want to change the role as manager, just click on the 3 dots button over here, change role. From member, you can change to manager. And then click saja confirm. So kalau dah ini manager, sebagai contoh Jivika ni bekerja under Amira. Okay, Amira is the manager of Jivikas. You can select Jivika's name, click on the first pencil button, assign direct manager, you can assign Amirah as the manager. Okay, selagi you tak change the role as manager, selagi tu the name will not be available in the drop down button. So let's say if Shuhada is the manager, Shuhada's role is still under member, you need to change Shuhada's role to manager first, then only their name will be available in the drop down option. Okay, apa je yang manager ni boleh buat? So manager ni, once the manager log into the manager's own Jibble profile, the manager can see the employee that they are managed. Okay, for example, this manager managed 5 employees. So when they log into their own, the manager's own Jibble account, they can see the 5 employees punya clock in and clock out time, can approve the leave of these 5 employees. Alright, so to manager punya permissions, the restriction permissions. Okay. We are skipping Jibble AI and invoices. For the reports pula, dekat sini, company can generate the report over here to check on the overtime, to check on the unpaid leave, to check on the activity, employees' daily activity or monthly activity. It depends on you on the filter. So you can just click on export. Macam saya cakapkan tadi, for example, for activities, you cuma nak generate report for this one department saja. You can choose the department. Kalau tak ada by department, the activities over here will not have any history. Okay, tak ada drop down option dekat sini if you do not insert any activities information. Same goes to project. If you would like to generate report for that particular project, you can also choose from here as well. Alright, so that is for the reports section. And then over here, we have the time off. Untuk time off ni pula, as the admin of Jibble, admin able to apply leave on behalf of employee. For example, employee unable to log into their own employee account due to some error. Okay, not to worry. Admin can apply leave on behalf of employee. Very simple. Just click on add time off dekat sini and then you can select the employee that you are applying for. You can choose the type of leave that they are requesting for. And then you can select the date over here. All right, if there's any note or any proof of leave, you can also update on this section as well. And then click on save. Okay, so once you click on save, automatically appear on this section as pending. So the steps that I showed to you just now on how to apply leave, it is actually similar to how employee apply leave on their own employee portal. But perbezaannya adalah if employee apply leave on their own portal, they will not be able to view these two button to approve or reject their own leave. Only admin or manager able to view these two button. Okay, so let's see admin yang applykan leave. Admin can approve straight away. Click on confirm. Status will automatically change to approved. Usually, I always filter this section as this year. So it's easier for me to view all past leave that the employer has already applied or status that is still under pending, rejected or cancelled. Semua dekat sini. Moving on. Next, under leave balance, as the admin able to view all employees' leave balance. If employee log into their own employee portal, employee will only be able to view their own leave balance. If manager log into the manager portal, manager can view her own or his own leave balance as well as the employee that they manage, the leave balance of the employee that they managed. Aside from that, as the admin also able to update the leave balance over here. For example, let's say previously this company are using manual record on leave activity. Okay, if the if the company would like the manual leave record to be tally with the Jibble leave record, you can filter or you can edit the balance over here. For example, on the manual record, they only have 5 days left. And then you can insert reason for change. Click on confirm. Automatically the balance will be updated. Okay, sebab sometimes some company they started using Jibber in the middle of the month ataupun in the middle of the year. Okay, so kita tak dapat detect back on the previous leave that the employee has already applied previously before they uses Jibber. So alternatively, they can edit the balance accordingly over here. Okay, so that is all under time off. This is where you can apply leave on behalf of employee, approve or reject the leave, check leave balance, and edit leave balance as well. So we are going to skip live location because this is for the ultimate plan. Also, it's not included in your assignment. Next, over here we have the timesheet. So on this timesheet, this is the section where admin can edit the timesheet or time entries for the employee. Also remember under time tracking, if you enable this button, allow members to edit their time entries. So kiranya employees can edit their own time entries. Sebagai contoh, for example, let's say yesterday or on Wednesday, Amira forgot to clock in and clock out. So Amira can edit Wednesday's time entry. For example, just click on create new time entry. Probably they started working at 9 a.m. So just pilih je the hour dekat sini, pukul berapa. Okay. And then kena insert juga the clock out time. Pukul 6 p.m. for example. Sebab dia terlupa nak clock in on Wednesday hari tu. So she can edit her own time entry. Okay, so dekat sini dah tunjuk lah, oh she actually work 9 hours on Wednesday. Alright, aside from that, kalau it's a hassle for you to insert the clock in and clock out time, you can straight away insert by hour. Untuk GVK ni pula, pun dia terlupa nak clock in on Wednesday, create new time entry, hour entry, boleh terus letak berapa jam dia work. And then click on save. So nanti dia akan auto appear dekat sini. So she already worked 8 hours on Wednesday. So this is where I say it's a little bit of controversial. Some company, they allow the employee to edit their own time entry. This is basically based on trust lah. Kalau some company, they don't allow to edit their own time entry, probably dia memang bekerja pada hari tu, but they just forgot to clock in and clock out. So they need to ask the admin to adjust the time entries. Okay. And then finally, we have the dashboard section, which I showed to you just now. So for the dashboard section, you can clock in and clock out for your employee. If you are the admin, you can clock in and clock out for the employee. If you are the manager, you can also clock in and clock out for the employee. So over here, I've already clocked in for these two employees. To clock out pula, same step, just push on the stop button. Okay, so you will see lah semua dah clock out sekarang ni. Okay, so that is all under Jibble. Right now, I am going to show you on how to integrate Payroll Panda dan juga Jibble. So, pertama sekali, kindly ensure you already log into the both system, Payroll Panda dan juga Jibble, both software. So, under Payroll Panda, go to Settings. Under Settings, select Integrations. Dekat Integrations, you can click on Jibble. Connect with Jibble. And then you can insert the role and organization. Do not worry, you can just select from the drop-down button over here. Akan ada satu option sahaja that you need to select. Selepas dah select, click on Connect. Kemudian you can insert all this information. Okay, so I'm just going to show you example of leave. So usually I will set as first of payroll month until the last day of payroll month. Different company, they have different practices. So probably from 28 tiap bulan until 27 bulan depan. So ulang balik from 38th to 27th of each month. So different company, they have different period. Okay, employees, I am going to map all employees over here. And then click on save. So once you click on save, you will notice there's an indicator over here that shows that you have already successfully integrated Payroll Panda and Jibble. Another way to find out is, if you go to employees, you will also notice there's a Jibble logo next to their name. Meaning to say this employee already exists under Jibble. If there's no Jibble logo next to their name, boleh tick sahaja on their names. Okay, selepas tick on their names, klik saja pada add to Jibble, send invitation, and click on confirm. So once you click on confirm, automatically their name will be available under Jibble. If you insert the employee's information manually, under employment over here, you can enable this button. If you insert the employee's information via bulk upload, which I am going to show you later, so once uploaded, you can tick all their names dekat sini. Just click on this one button. It will automatically tick all names. Just click add to Jibble. Okay. So once integrated, if you go to payroll, I am just going to show you example for July punya payroll. So once you go to Payroll Panda to process the payroll, if you would like all overtime and unpaid leave captured in Jibble to be synced to Payroll Panda, please make sure to click on this button, Sync Payroll Data. Select Jibble or click on Jibble. Automatically, all unpaid leave and overtime captured under Jibble will be synced with Payroll Panda. Alternatively, you can also insert overtime and unpaid leave manually dekat sini juga. But just that to show that the integration is completed, best if you can click on the sync payroll data. Let me show you one example. Sekejap ya. Okay, for Jivika. Okay, let's apply unpaid leave for Jivika. At time off, Jivika, kita apply unpaid leave just to show you on how the integration works. For example, she was on unpaid leave yesterday just for 1 day. Click on save. Don't forget to approve first. Kalau it is still under pending, it won't detect dekat Payroll Panda when you process the payroll. So approve. So Jivika took 1 day of unpaid leave. If you go to Payroll Panda, click sync payroll data. At the moment, Jivika, there's nothing over here, only receive basic salary. There's nothing else. So click sync payroll, Jibble. System will recalculate back all the information. Sekejap ya. One moment ya. Oh, this is for July. I applied for June. Minta maaf. Let me reapply back for July. I'm so sorry. Okay, Jivika for July. Okay, kita pick 6th of July lah. Click on save. Okay, so we applied for July. Previously, I did apply for June, but we are processing July payroll. Apologies. Okay, go back to Payroll Panda, July. Okay, still not detected over here because you need to keep on syncing. Okay, once synced, so automatically system will detect Jivika's unpaid leave for 1 day. Alright, so that is how the integration works. Same goes to overtime as well. So kalau kata ada pekerja work overtime in that particular month, you need to click on this sync payroll button first in order for the overtime to be stipulated or to be synced in Payroll Panda. Okay, so that is all under Payroll Panda and Jibble. If you have any question that you would like to ask before we proceed with your assignment, you can ask me any questions so far. Anything? Semua okay ya? Okay, let me just stop for a while. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? Sekejap ya. Okay, I believe we can start with the assignment discussion right now. Let me show you my entire screen semula. Okay, oops. Right. So I believe this is your assignment. Okay, so for group presentation, file submission 30% and group presentation 10%. Once again, kalau ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya, boleh terus unmute your microphone, okay? So the first one, create a company in Payroll Panda. So basically macam biasalah, just search Payroll Panda. I hope you can view my screen. Okay, just search Payroll Panda, click Payroll Panda, click login, lepas tu you boleh create account. So sign up today. Alright, so create dekat sini saja, insert full name. Make sure when you insert email ni, make sure you are using an active email. Sebab nanti Payroll Panda kita akan send a link for verification. So make sure it is an active email. If you don't want to create multiple email, tak ada masalah. You can just add, like a contoh email saya, zulaika@gmail.com. You can just add +1 dekat belakang ni. Alright, kalau kata tak nak create multiple email lah. Okay, so this is where you can sign up the Jibble account. Payroll Panda punya account. Next, company details are filled. So basically, semua company details dekat sini kena make sure fill up lah. Okay, up to you on the information since this is your assignment, 100%. You can insert any information over here, but just make sure it complements the default settings that we provided over here. Create a payroll cycle and explain why you choose those settings. So for payroll cycle, over here, it's under payroll settings, cycle. So under cycle over here, some company, diorang nak senang buat payroll just from the first of each month until the last day of each month. Some company pula, their payroll start on the 15th or 28th of the following month. For example, untuk yang ni, kita letak as last day. So when you put as last day, dekat payroll, it will detect the full month, first until the last day of the payroll month. But if you put other cycles, which is totally acceptable, sebab some company kan they have different payroll cycle. Let's say you put on the 28th of the month, and then you just click on save, payroll cut off 28th of the month. If you go to payroll, nanti you will see dekat sini, yeah, they start from the June 29th to July 28th. Sebab 28 ni last day, cut off. So untuk bulan depan pula, it starts from July 29th to August 28th. Okay, some company, they have that kind of payroll period punya cycle. So this one also, you need to decide which payroll cycle that you want to create. Yeah. Okay, once you create, you need to explain why you choose those settings lah. And then create 3 types of payroll policies and explain the difference or reasoning why a company might choose those policies. So this is the policies. This is the payroll policies. We have salary progression, overtime, unpaid leave, and leave pay, which I've already explained during our Payroll Panda demo tadi. So you can choose from these payroll policies and explain further during your presentation as well as in your slide as well. Okay. Everyone okay so far?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay. Thank you. Next, kita nak add employee pula. Add a minimum of 10 employees. Minimum 10 employees to ensure ensure you have different types of employees. Okay, so you can add 10 or more employees, tapi minimum dia 10 employees lah. So kalau nak add one employees one by one macam susah dekat sini kan, kena isi, save, lepas tu isi semula for the second employee and then save. So it's a little bit of time consuming, but not to worry, you can use the bulk upload. How to use the bulk upload? Just click on upload employees, click on download sheet dekat sini. Once you click on download sheet, this is the same sheet that will be downloaded in your device. Okay, so dekat sini, as you can see, we have sample on how to insert the information. You can just refer to the sample over here. Okay, so kita ada full name, email address, yada, semua ada dekat sini. So you can just fill up all information terus untuk 10 employees tu. Okay, so once filled up, you need to save in CSV file. Okay, so once it is saved in CSV file, when you upload dekat sini, sebab kita require CSV file, then just upload dekat sini saja. Kemudian click on next, it will be automatically uploaded in the system. Sometimes, when you upload the employee information, if there is some error, sometimes you tak ikut the default template. Contohnya untuk IC number, it should have hyphen but you did not put hyphen. Okay, in case if there's any error, dekat atas ni there will be a pop-up message saying that there's an error, and also the system also will mention which part yang error, which column and which row yang error. So it's easier for you to identify and edit accordingly and re-upload back. So tak perlu risau kalau tiba-tiba error masa you nak upload, there will be an indicator over here to show which part yang error tu. Okay. Employee on monthly salary. So when you adding new employee dekat dalam sistem, make sure ada employee on monthly salary, hourly salary dan daily salary juga. Also employee without EIS contribution. Untuk employees without EIS contribution ni ada dua kategori saja. Satu foreigner. Foreigner memang tak ada EIS contribution. Satu lagi adalah pekerja Malaysia, local employee, which umur dia dah meningkat more than 60 years old. So bila you insert information, kalau you nak the system to auto detect no EIS contribution, at least you need to have one foreign employee or employee that their age is above 60. Alright. Oops. Okay, employee without EIS contribution. Next, we have employee without mandatory EPF contribution. Just give me 1 minute, yeah. Let me just. Okay, employee without mandatory EPF contribution. Untuk yang ni pula, obviously all Malaysian employee age above 60, they are no longer contributing to EPF. Only employer contribution, which is 4% from their salary. So untuk ni boleh gunakan yang tu. And then intern. Alright, so you need to have intern in your employees list. Untuk intern ni pula, very important for you to change the worker status here as intern. You kena choose accordingly dekat sini. So that system will auto detect for intern memang tak ada penolakan EPF, SOKSO, EIS ataupun PCB and HRDF. Yang ni kita dah mention tadi lah, Malaysian foreign employees. So foreign employees, we have two different categories, with PR and without PR, with permanent resident and without permanent resident. You also need to have that option in your employees list as well. Okay, during your presentation and in your slides, showcase how to manually add employee. Manually add employee is where you can add manually over here. Okay, if you use the bulk upload, this is the by using the template. Explain how to add employees in bulk. As I showed to you just now, this is where you can download the file, fill up accordingly as per the sample provided to avoid any error when uploading. You can showcase this as well during the presentation. Explain the process of adding new employee and include information that is required from previous employer. Okay, ingat tak for this section, I did mention on new employee, they need to have the TP3 form. Okay,
Yes.
untuk alright, thank you. Untuk pekerja ni, there's no TP3 form here because they joined previously last year. So, untuk pekerja yang join on 2026, there will be a TP3 form over here. So, you need to make sure lah when you insert new employee tu, you need to make sure join date tu tahun ni. So that the TP3 form tab will be available over here. Tab or button. Right. So explain the process of employee leaving the company due to death. Okay, untuk employee leaving the company due to death, you can explain accordingly. And there's also forms over here. I'm not going to show you which forms, tapi you boleh read through on the icon over here. Kat sini semua ada mention. Alright, so you can read through the forms over here and download accordingly. Sama juga employee leaving the company leaving the company due to leaving the country. So kiranya for tax clearance lah. Also, the forms are over here as well. Nanti boleh figure out which forms, okay? And then over here, explain the process of employee leaving the company due to the new job opportunity. Also, the form is over here. Okay. Ada apa-apa soalan under add employees 1.2 section? Semua okay ya? Okay. Kita proceed. Next, we have the run payroll section pula. Explain and showcase the process of running payroll for a particular month from start to finish. Macam saya explain during our training tadi, you boleh explain balik during your presentation macam mana nak proses payroll. Kena klik sini dulu setiap bulan, kena pergi dekat payroll yang nak run tu. Alright, klik saja payroll, proceed macam biasa, perlu insert info, perlu insert dekat sini. Boleh tunjuk juga bab upload. So you kena terangkan one by one lah. Okay, once done, you need to show the bank files, statutory files and payslip. Kalau ingat, semua dekat payroll ni tadi. Semua file dekat sini. So kena tunjukkan satu persatu as per the question over here. And then add different payroll items for at least one employee in payroll run. Add different payroll items for at least one employee. Okay, payroll items. So bila you process payroll, when you in the midst of processing payroll, tak maulah hanya ada basic salary saja kan. We need to have other payroll items dekat sini juga just to make sure that you understand on how to use the payroll and you understand how the system calculate the payroll. Okay, so you need to add multiple different payroll items. So we call this as additional payroll item. So kena add multiple different payroll item. Describe the difference between adding payroll item in employee tab and in payroll tab. Okay, yang ni saya rasa saya dah terangkan juga tadi. So ada dua section to add payroll item. The first one dekat employee punya tab. So employee, pekerja, employment. So the first one dekat sini. Kenapa kena insert dekat sini? Saya dah explain tadi. So during the presentation and your slides pun kena mention kenapa kena update dekat sini. Dan kenapa juga ada option, why do you have another option to update straight away in the payroll when you process the payroll? Okay, so you need to show during your presentation and slides, you need to show why you need to update via from the employee profile and why do you need to update on the payroll, run payroll stage. Okay, sorry. Next, add a custom payroll item for at least one employee. Okay, untuk custom payroll item pula, pertama sekali in order for you to add the custom payroll item, you need to create the custom payroll item first. Where to create? Payroll settings, payroll items, klik saja pada add payroll item. So once created, you will notice there's a custom labeled here on the custom item that you created. So once created, just go back to payroll and add the custom item. Include a payroll summary report for at least 3 consecutive months. Okay, untuk yang ini pula, so let's say if you would like to show the system that you need to lock the payroll first, probably you boleh you boleh lock payroll January dulu and then proceed to submit February, March, April sebab it shows you to at least 3 consecutive months kan, kena process 3 months punya payroll. So you boleh lock dulu January, boleh process February, March, April. Ataupun nak lock January dan February and then process March, April dan May. Sebab at the moment, if you sign up in Payroll Panda, we only have up until July punya payroll. Ataupun you nak buat May, June, July tapi July belum lagi kan, macam tak make sense. So probably you boleh buat March, April, May. So untuk 3 bulan. Definitely up to you. Okay. So a field YTD data for at least one employee with past dates field. So this is why I suggest to not start on January. Sebab kalau you start on January, you won't have this, you won't be able to insert the past date punya YTD, year to date. So if you start for March, January dengan February ni, you need to make sure you fill up the YTD over here. January dengan February. Okay, you fill this up before you process March, April, May untuk 3 bulan punya payroll. Just to showcase that you understand lah. So previously, you need to insert the salary that you have paid so that the system can calculate BCB and generate accurate e-form and e-form macam tu. Okay, so once again, that is why we advise not to start for January punya payroll. Kalau nak process, for February onwards, boleh process. Any other questions sebelum kita masuk under Jibel punya assignment pula?
So far so good.
Saya tengok di bahagian chat ada soalan.
Oh, okay, minta maaf.
Okay, soalan yang pertama, if the employee already working in the company from the beginning of this year, does TP3 form is still necessary?
Okay, untuk soalan ni, I believe I've already explained tadi. Untuk 2 soalan ni kita dah cover, dah cover tadi. But let me just repeat once again, should be no problem. Okay. If the employee already working in the company from the beginning of the year, does the TP3 form is still necessary? Yes, it is still necessary. As long as the year join is 2026, still kena fill up the TP3 form. Tapi fill up dia, contohnya, for example, this employee join date dia on 1st of January 2026. Automatically the TP3 form will be available dekat sini. So all you need to do is just ask the employee to sign the hard copy. Okay, ini untuk real case scenario, ask the employee to sign the hard copy so that when LHDN came for audit, you can show them lah. Sebab sometimes LHDN when they come for audit, to do the audit, they require to provide the new hire punya information. So you can just provide the TP3 form ni. Okay, tapi kalau they join date last year, macam ni, last year join date. Alright, so tak ada TP3 form dekat situ. Okay, so to answer your question, yes, we require the TP3 form untuk new hire 2026. If the company has 10 employees, is it recommended to use bulk upload? Yes, correct. Sebab kalau nak buat one by one dekat sini, nanti it's quite a hassle. Sebab macam nak kena save, lepas tu nak insert balik, save. So might as well you insert terus dekat sini. Alright, lagi senang. Alif bin Abu. Lepas tu dekat sini bolehlah letak pekerja-pekerja lain terus dekat sini. So it's easier, boleh straight letak semua. Okay. Also, sekali lagi, when you have completed this template, make sure to download it in CSV file. Okay, I think itu sahaja soalan dekat chat box. If you have any other question before we start with Jibel punya soalan, feel free to ask me any questions, okay?
Okay, we open for Q&A. So students, if you have questions, feel free to ask now.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Haslinda, you have a question. Could you open your mic and ask the question?
Hello, Ms. Zulaika. So I have a little, can you hear me? Okay,
It's a
so I
little
have
bit
a little
breaking.
confusion.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, so I have a little confusion where you suggested us to start our payroll on March onwards to ease the YTD process, right? But then if we don't start from January, will our payroll become inaccurate or will have problem with statutory calculation
Okay.
after?
All right. Okay, so basically, the main reason why I suggested to start from February onwards is because it it is you to insert the YTD over here. So let's say if you start for March payroll onwards, so you require to insert the previous salary information from January to February. Let's put in a real case scenario. For example, let's say this company started using Payroll Panda for March payroll. For January and February, since they do not run or process any payroll in the system, alternatively, they need to insert the salary summary or payroll YTD they have calculated previously using their own manual record or manual calculation. They need to insert over here. Okay, once again, the reason why we need complete information over here is so that Payroll Panda able to generate accurate e-form, EA form, as well as PCB calculation. We need to know whether previously the employee already paid PCB or not. Hence, that is why you need the January and February before you process March payroll in the system. So basically, just to summarize my explanation, if you would like to start using the system, March, April, May, or February, March, April, make sure you fill up the payroll table here accordingly. If you would like to start from March, you need to fill up January and February. If you would like to start for February, just fill up January. So once you process payroll in the system, say you process March payroll, this section will be automatically reflected as per what you process for that particular month. So you don't have to insert anything over here for March onwards, because from March onwards, you started using the system. So from March onwards, this section will be auto-reflected. I hope that answers your question. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
No worries. Okay, anything else?
Is there any more questions from the students? Okay, so far so good. I think Cik Siti Zulaikha, kita boleh proceed. You can.
Okay, boleh. Alright, moving on to Jibble. So once again, untuk Payroll Panda, saya rasa kita dah cover semua. Okay, moving on to Jibble. Create Jibble punya organisation. So untuk create Jibble punya organisation, macam saya tunjukkan tadi, untuk Payroll Panda, kita kena search Payroll Panda lah. So obviously for Jibble, you need to search for Jibble and then just click on the sign up account. So once you click on sign up account, you can proceed with filling up your company's information and everything. So create a Jibble organization. Add users to Jibble. They should be synced to Payroll Panda. Okay, what I can suggest is, first, please make sure you create Payroll Panda punya account first. After you completed the whole setup of Payroll Panda, then only you move on to Jibble. So when you create Jibble pula, when you're already at this page, dashboard, when you have successfully logged in, quickly go back to Payroll Panda to integrate. Okay, selepas integrate, you can match the employee over here. Remember, add to Jibble. Sebab, you don't have to manually add employee dekat sini tau. Since it has already been synced and connected, you can just tick on the employee's name and then click on add to Jibble. So that shows the sync and the connection process. During training pun boleh tunjuk juga. They should be synced to Payroll Panda and not manually added in Jibble. Okay, any question for 1.1?
No.
No, miss.
All right. Okay. Moving on, time tracking rules. Group Jibber users based on category. So we have 3 categories over here. The first one, require face recognition. Okay, for the employees that require facial recognition, Jibber, so under time tracking over here, you can just enable this button, require facial recognition. And then during the training, perhaps you can show a demonstration on how the facial recognition works and everything. And let's say if you're not too sure on how to set up, you can go to YouTube, you can search Jibber facial recognition. We have a detailed video on how to set up facial recognition, how to use facial recognition as well. Okay. Next, require location per time entry created. So over here pun boleh enable this button untuk location. Require location time with time entries and enable geofencing location. Kenapa you have to enable this geofencing punya restriction over here is because we need to know if you understand that when you inserted the location over here, employee need to be within this radius to clock in and clock out. Okay, so that one goes here. Require location with time entries. Enable geofencing per time entry. Moving on. Require screenshot of their work when clocked in. Untuk screenshot also still on the same page. Screenshots is over here. But the viewing that the screen that I'm currently showing to you right now, this is the web browser, not the desktop apps. For screenshot, it is only applicable for the desktop apps. So what you can do is, when you do the presentation or your slides nanti, you can download Jibber via desktop apps. Okay, you boleh pergi dekat App Store, download the Jibber and make sure you enable the screen capturing punya settings so that there will be 15 minutes to 20 minutes, 10 minutes to 15 minutes interval and the system will screenshot. Selepas screenshot, if you would like to show the proof of the screenshot, it will show over here. Sorry, timesheet. Dekat timesheet ni nanti, there will be a button. I'm so sorry, I have no activity in my dummy account over here, but there will be a button somewhere over here that shows a screenshot of the daily 15 to 10 minutes punya interval. Okay. Also, you can refer to our help article dekat sini. We have a learning center help article. You can search for the article dekat our help article as well for the screenshot. But once again, screenshot is not applicable on web browser. It is only applicable via desktop app, which you need to download. Any question for 1.2?
No, miss.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on, leave management pula. Public holiday, add 2 calendars to the organisation, both Malaysia but in different states. Okay, for the public holiday, so you can just go to time off and holidays. Dekat holidays ni, dekat sini kita ada multiple calendar. To add new calendar, klik saja dekat sini. Lepas the add new calendar, bila you add new calendar, you can rename the calendar tau. Sebab usually dia akan terus pilih imported calendar Malaysia. So just to identify different states, please add the name dekat sini, calendar name. So once added, you can assign to employees accordingly. Sebab kalau sekadar if you just added new holidays or new calendar dekat sini without assigning to employees, it's a little bit of pointless lah. Okay. So assign those calendars to different people. Paid and unpaid leave. Create annual leave policy, create medical leave policy, create hospitalization leave policy, and unpaid leave and explain each setup. So dekat sini, time off punya policies, you can create the leave dekat sini as per shoot to you just now, add time off policies and create saja dekat sini. Okay, what does this explain each setup is? You can explain. Dekat sini kita ada option annually ataupun monthly. So you can explain lah why you choose annually, why you choose monthly. So annually is basically you earn the leave throughout the year. So you can apply the leave as much as you want. Sometimes some company don't restrict. 1 month kena apply 1 leave saja, which is the monthly. Untuk annually ni pula, if at the beginning of the year you are entitled with 12 days, you can just finish off the 12 days on the January itself or gradually. Untuk monthly ni pula, kalau you entitled for 12 days, you need to use 1 day per month. Kalau January you tak guna, so kiranya February you can apply 2 days. And so on and so forth. So So basically you can explain jugalah, and then explain kenapa public holiday you take and non-working days. So kena explain on this as well. Any question on the also untuk medical leave, hospital sebab annual leave ni kan it's based on the service, year of service. You have already worked in that particular company. For example, for 1 to 2 years, 12 days or 8 days. For more than more than 3 years, 12 days. So dekat sini pun you can explain lah how many days you provided, why you provide that many days, and for medical leave as well based on the what days the government set. Okay. Sebab takut nanti kalau you terus letak medical leave 36 hari, nanti tak tahu sumber tu dari mana. Okay. Same goes to hospitalization leave as well. Sebab tak silap I, if I'm not mistaken, for medical leave, the proposed number of days is only 14. Hospitalization leave only 60. Maternity leave 98 days. Okay, so you can explain jugalah. Okay, any other question on the leave management portion?
No, miss.
Okay. Next. Oh, dah last dah. Okay, Payroll Panda and Jibble. Explain how to sync employees from Payroll Panda to Jibble. Alright, so nanti you boleh explain lah macam mana nak sync. Pertama sekali kena integrate dulu, lepas dah integrate, after the integration is completed, then only you can sync the employees. But what if moving forward, if you have new employee, how to sync? Just add them over, just add the employee and enable this button. Alright, so you can explain that during your presentation and in slides as well. Show in one payroll overtime coming in from Jibble. Okay, sama juga yang ini. I believe just now I showed you on how the unpaid leave integrated with Jibble. Okay, now kita buat the overtime pula integrated with Jibble, Payroll Panda and Jibble. So usually I would go to timesheet over here. Sekarang bulan Jun. Okay, sebentar ya. Okay, so let's say this employee, let's choose this employee lah. Syuhada for the month, let's do July. Sebab I have process June payroll dah kan, so let's do July. So to show you the overtime integration, so make sure you insert, tak boleh add untuk future month. So let's just go to June lah. Okay, just to show you that you understand on how the overtime works or sync, just create new entry. Our entry, maybe they work 12 hours. Banyak sangat pula. 10 hours lah. 10 hours, okay? On 9th of June. And then just click on save. Okay, so once done, you can go to Payroll Panda, but let me change my policies over here. Last day of the month, payroll, I'm gonna revert back this payroll. Sekejap ya. I applied for Jivika. One moment ya. Okay, so at the moment Jivika sekarang there's no overtime captured over here. Okay, just click on sync payroll data, Jibble. Okay, so over here, ini unpaid leave tadi. Hold on ya. I think I forgot to integrate the Jibble overtime over here. Sekejap ya. So this one that I applied unpaid leave previously yang yang I tersalah tadi tu, let me sync once again. Okay, so Jivika, we have overtime. So extra 2 hours. So the normal working hour is 8 hours. So she worked extra 2 hours. So total of 10 hours. So we calculated the extra 2 hours dekat sini dah. So the overtime is automatically synced. So to show that you understand that, first make sure you apply the overtime dekat dalam Jibber, in Jibber first. So when kat sini tadi, so when you process payroll, every time you add new entry dekat Jibber, make sure you click on sync. Okay? So once done, nanti dia akan appear dekat sini as overtime and unpaid leave. Yang ni kita dah tunjuk tadi, show that unpaid leave was taken in Jibber. So unpaid leave took in Jibber tadi, kita dah show juga untuk Jivika 11th June in June. So dia dah auto detect dekat sini juga, just for 1 day of unpaid leave. Alright. Show that leave was taken. Okay, untuk show the leave was taken ni pula, I would advise you to log in via employee punya portal. The portal that you're seeing right now is the admin punya view, admin punya portal. So for the employee punya portal, let me just show you my personal Gbook. Allah, sekejap ya. Let me stop ni sekejap. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen right now. So this is my personal Gmail account. So dekat sini pun perhaps you can just show how the leave application or how to apply the leave. So that is why when you import employee, make sure one or two employees dekat sini, dekat Gmail ni, make sure they have an active email so that you'll be able to get the invitation punya email, so that you'll be able to apply the leave and receive the leave approval ataupun leave rejected punya notification. So lebih senang kalau ada the active email lah. If you don't want to create multiple email, macam I cakap tadi, just put +1 before the alias. Okay. So macam mana nak take leave on the personal account pun sama juga. Just go to time off, request time off dekat atas ni, and then just select the leave that you are applying for, and then just click saja pada save. Okay? Moving on. Explain how employees can view their payslip. Okay, so once you process the payroll, when you are at this page, assuming that we've already processed June punya payroll. Sekejap ya. Okay, so once the process payroll, on the last step over here, publish payslip to Gmail. So once you click on publish payslip to Gmail dekat sini, automatically the employee be able to view their own payslip on their own employee portal. Just to give you an example, so this is my personal Gmail. So where to view their own payslip, just go to your profile over here, go to your account, and you can view the payslip over here. Just select je lah which month can you process to. So you can select from here as well. Okay, so this is where you can view the pay slip. Okay, that is all on your assignment. Any question on Gbook or Payroll Panda or all together?
Okay, we have
I mean, I
question
do have
from
question to
Alice.
ask. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, Miss. No question.
About the the one that you say about show the leave was taken is log in via employee portal, meaning Gmail, or is it Gmail? Or
Correct.
what's the
In
name?
Payroll
Payroll
Panda,
Panda.
we don't have
I'm confused here.
Yep.
Gmail,
Payroll
is
Panda,
it?
we don't have
Oh, okay, okay, alright.
Correct.
So meaning I have to create another account for that, is it? For employee portal?
Yes.
Okay, alright. Thank you, Miss.
No worries.
Any other question? We are currently open for Q&A. If you have question, you can raise your hand and then I will call your name and we will proceed with Q&A. Okay, there is one question from Amiro Ikwan about the submission date for this moment. So-
Okay, for the submission date, hold on, yeah. Just one moment, yeah. Okay, so the deadline is on 4th of July 2026. So the deadline over here. And then you were asking on how long the time allocation for the presentation. Okay, so for the presentation, I think we allocated about, let me just check in the checklist over here, yeah. Give me one moment, yeah. It's a 20 minutes video submission.
Okay, meaning that they do not have to present it live or synchronously, but they need to record and then the recording will be maximum 20 minutes, right?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Anything else? Besides PowerPoint, can we use Canva for submission? I believe it is up to you.
Mhm.
You can submit via using Canva slides as well, but make sure it is in PDF lah.
The thing is, all of them in the group should be in the video, right? So
Yep.
human should present. They cannot use caricature. They cannot use AI to represent themselves, right? The student themselves must record themselves and present.
Correct.
Okay, I just make it clear to all, so they do not, too over creative and too out of the box. Okay, because of these AI things, right? Okay, I hope that message run across, all students. So anything else? Okay, what if the student have questions later and they want to recheck? Can they? How do you like the question to reach you? Is it the lecturer collect the question and pass to you?
Previously, that's how we do it. I
Okay.
believe it was Dr. Sabirah, if I'm
Yeah,
not
correct.
Yes. So she collected questions from her students, also students from other UiTM as well, and
Yeah.
then send it to me and I answer via WhatsApp.
Yeah, I think that's better
Mm.
instead of giving access to them one by one. So you will have nightmare. Right.
Okay, so we need to submit both report and the video presentation. No, you don't need to submit any report. Only video presentation and the power slides.
Okay.
It's on the screen. The date is on the screen. I believe your lecturer will explain on where to submit it. I believe your lecturer will explain it. Yeah.
So pertaining to the medium, where do you need to submit and everything, your class lecturer will inform you. Will inform you from time to time, right? Okay, any other question? Anything else, students?
No, Doctor. No,
No,
madam.
Doctor.
Okay, I believe so far so good. Is there anything else, Cik Zulaika? Is it the slide? Is it the report? Just now, Cik Zulaika have answered. You need to submit a presentation video plus your slide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if there's nothing else, can we take a group photo
Yeah, sure. Good job. Just
before
like
we
presenting.
end our session?
Okay, sure. Screenshot here.
Can students open your camera so that we can take a proper photo with your face appearing in the screen? While waiting, I just want to thank Ms. Leka for your insightful, informative presentation. I'm sure our students actually gain a lot of valuable
Alhamdulillah.
knowledge pertaining to the Pero system, particularly the Pero Panda and Jibble. They need to explore both. So,
Mm-mm.
and also they will also learn how to comply with the statutory compliance and
Right.
the practical aspect of the system.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you again.
No
So
problem. Thank you so much also to everyone who's joining this session as well.
they have to join.
Uh-uh.
No choice. But this is good for them. And
Mm.
instead of attending a typical class, right? So they heard directly from industry expert. So it is actually a plus point for them. Okay, the rest, please open your camera. We are waiting. Maybe plus minus another minute. Another minute. Okay, I will just hide those with no video. Hold on. Okay, ready? I'm taking a picture, and I hope that every representative from your own class will take your own picture and let us share with your group, right? Okay, smile. 1, 2,